because you can't really see me anyway.
I've got to try and get my brain into gear because I'm on time of the month as well. I had my operation and I'm on time of the month. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Well,
what was
one go?
what was your operation, Danielle?
My operation was on down there, if you know what I mean, inside.
Recording, so
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, down and up. Ladies things. But I'm fine. Right. Talk about yourself because I've got to share. I've got to share. Oh my Lord. The rain. Well, actually it's just stopped this precise moment. So life is good. Life is always good anyway.
Yeah, it's raining here. It's raining heavily here.
There's songs to do with rain. You can sing
Some sunshine.
But it's all right, whatever the weather, it's all right, isn't it? We don't, well, none of us here live in dangerous weather locations. So
Hilda, you look fantastic. Not that you don't usually look fantastic, but today you look like a 30-year-old. I don't know, maybe my view, not
who
but you really look so, like, you're so beautiful and look so young, really.
Are you saying that to me, Susie?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're surprised.
The only difference, so I have no eye makeup on. That's why I've got my glasses on. Because got no eye makeup.
But have you changed something to your hair?
Lipstick. And it's a lipstick that really doesn't suit me. It doesn't suit my complexion. But it is that sugar pink, that summer sugar pink. Yeah, so I bet that, and it's the only one. I've lost the one that I don't know where it is in the house that I normally use. So I just put the sugar pink on.
Looks good on you.
So it must
on
be
the camera anyway.
Sexy ladies, I'll tell you. I'm a lucky girl surrounded by beauty.
You're too sexy for your Zoom.
Too sexy for your Zoom. Right, I'm nearly there. I'm doing it. I'm on the case. I don't publish. Gosh.
But I've had a good week with clients anyway. So that's the other thing, Susie. I've come alive as well. I've had to start working full time. So, proper working. And so I've had lots of clients this week and some good results. And that's nice, isn't it? It's nice when you get.
It's amazing. I was going to talk about one of my clients that I had yesterday, and she's a young girl, and she's just transformed. It's the most incredible thing. She's confident now, and she was dressing very all in black all the time, and very head down all the time, and living in fear all the time. And she came in yesterday. And she's like, I'm so proud of myself, she's saying. I'll tell you about it in a minute. I've nearly done this. You know what I'm like. I've got to set all this up. Hold on. I'm not taking a video. Do I take a video of me? No. Right. And now we've got our real therapy coming out today as well. Hold on. Done. Next. Oh, yes. Right. So let me post this and then being centered. Post. Right, I'm good, I think. Uploading. Right, let me put this away so I don't make a noise. Okay. I'm back.
I love your flowery top.
Do you know, I love really flowers and I love colour. And it just, look, on my daisies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we know daisies. We've seen them before.
Yeah.
I love daisies. I just love daisies. They make you feel happy, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
I think you make the daisies feel happy.
Just sprout them up, babe. Oh, darling, right, let's start. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, World, YouTube, of course, YouTube. And good morning to my beautiful girlies that are joining me today. I'm so excited. So I've got to try and get my brain into gear because certain things this week have made my brain a little bit skew-if, but we're focused. I've got focus. Center. find my centre. So today let me start with, firstly, today we've got a new Real Therapy podcast coming out, and that is about what is reality, and it's brilliant. And we go into some incredible things like Elon Musk and his theories, and lucid dreaming and incredible stuff. Because what is reality? And The Sims, we talk about The Sims because that's another version of reality. So have a little listen to our podcast, like, subscribe, join and follow us, because every single Friday we are bringing out a new Real Therapy podcast, and it's very exciting. And my first brain work. My first magazine piece came out yesterday, so I was really excited to see it in print. So that's really cool.
Well done.
Oh, and I you know what? It just feels really good. Just feels good because I'm doing what I really love doing. You know, I love. It's different because obviously I've got to generalise a bit more, and you've got a very short amount of words to say. Normally I'm very wordy. I can just talk for England, but you've got to kind of really be precise and general and, you know, so specific. So I did that, but I'm proud of what I did. So that's come out. So that's going to hopefully direct some traffic as well. And anyone watching this, if you can share it with people that you feel may benefit, will be amazing, because that's why we're here. Because we get, between us, we're like little anchors in each other's lives. You know, we really help each other, and we just really help others as well. That's what we want to do. We're here for each other because this planet, that's what it's about. We've got to be here for each other, you know, and we all do have different views of this world and what's going on. And different challenges in our lives. We have that, but fundamentally we're all living the same. We all want the same things. We all want the same securities and peace and love and happiness. We just do. And so we're here just to try and guide you. If you've lost your way a little tiny bit, or someone that you know has lost their way a little bit, then just guide them towards us, and hopefully we can help just make it a little bit calmer. A little bit calmer. So I can see a little light going through my hair. Can you see that light?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's
It's a seventh chakra.
Yeah, it is. It's coming out.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, we'll worry about the light later. So today we are talking about being centered. And I think what I'll do is I'll start off. I will talk about my client yesterday, because she's a young girl. And when she first came to me, she was in a real state. I mean, in every area of life, emotionally, physically, spiritually challenged. Just didn't know who she was, what she wanted. She's only 14. So, you know, she's going through the hormone changes. You know, it's that kind of cycle. And, you know, it's the parents and the child kind of thing as well, you know, so it can be challenging. And, but she's transformed in just a couple of sessions, and I keep talking to her. I'm always there. She knows that if she needs to talk, I'm there. It's great. And she really loves that time. But anyways, yesterday she came in, she said, I have to admit, she said, I had a panic attack at school. And I said, right. And she goes, everything's got a lot better. She goes, but it did happen the other day. I said, okay. I said, so what did you do? She goes, well, by the time I'd asked to be taken out of the class, she said it was too late, and I was like hyperventilating and, you know, like in a real state and in the bathroom, and just, you know, she got past that point, the trigger point. So I said to her, okay, so what is your trigger point? What happens to your body? Where do you feel it? What can you feel? What happens before the point where you lose control of your breathing, before the point of no return, basically? Because once that breathing goes, it's difficult to get right back into the flow, isn't it? If you can recognize the little symbols and the signs and the things that happen to you, then it's much easier to take control and to divert the situation. And she said, oh, so firstly she said, she goes, my breathing goes all funny. I said, yeah, no. I said, what happens before that? And she goes, well, everything goes fuzzy around me. I said, oh, okay. So when everything goes fuzzy around you, it's before the breathing. She said, yeah. I said, right. That's the point that you're recognizing. When everything goes funny, at that point, you've got to take control. So I said, at that point, instead of waiting for it to all kick in, go to the teacher at that point when everything goes fuzzy, put your hand up, do what you need to do and say, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. Please, can I leave the room? And I go outside. Because what I would usually say is to go outside, sit on the ground, look at nature, look at the trees, smell the air, smell the flowers, get grounded, you know, be centered. And this is another way of becoming centered, to take notice of anything that's natural, anything that's real, the smells, the colours, the naturalness, just bringing you back to noticing your breathing, just calming yourself down and just getting rid of the panic, getting rid of the fear. And she said, I'm not allowed to go outside. She goes, I'm not allowed to go outside, as in, like, she goes, I said, so where do you go? She goes, I can go in the corridor. I said, right. I said, so what I want you to do at that point, when you see everything go fuzzy, I said, I'd like you to have something in your bag, like a little toy, something that you're comforted by. It's like a little colourful toy, something that's soft, that feels nice. You can spray some perfume on, your favourite perfume, something like that. And at that point, when everything goes fuzzy, put your hand up. You go to the teacher, say, I need some space. I'm feeling a bit panicky. And go and sit in your corridor where you need to do. And it doesn't matter if you're not outside, but just get that toy out, something that's small that you can just really focus on it and smell it and look at it and feel it and touch it and just really concentrate on that toy and just let everything calm down again. Because once you shift that focus, and it's something that you can do, it's something you can carry in your bag or, you know, carry in your pocket or something like that. And once you do that, you're bringing you back to reality, and all the hurricane around you starts to disperse. And you're back in the centre, your bag. And I said, do you think you could do that? And she goes, yeah, I really think I can do that. So that was really good. And it just came back to that being centred. And I think that centering feeling, that calmness, that thing that we can all do once we recognise those little triggers is so extremely powerful, because we're taking control of our we're taking control of our breathing, of our thoughts. We're kind of guiding our thoughts, and it allows you time to reflect, just to self-reflect, breathe, and get back into a place of present. And from the present, everything just feels so much better, because it's what's happening right now, what's important right now, and it's dealing with that rather than everything, you know, because lack of sleep, hormone changes, all of these things that she's done. You know, we've had hot weather, you know, so it's all of these things just all tied in together, adding to the extra noise, basically. So that was my little thing yesterday. And then for myself, when I talk about myself, at the dentist, I've got a thing about dentists. And Ethan had to go to the dentist the other week to get his teeth. It was one's growing through, and he had to get his tooth taken out because one's growing through and it's got to come out. So I was sitting there in the corner, because it's all COVID, isn't it? Like, you're not allowed to go anywhere near anything or do anything. But I was sitting in the corner and Ethan's in the dentist chair, and it goes back and I'm just breathing, trying to concentrate on my breath, and the chair's going back. And then all of a sudden he starts doing it, because he had to numb the gum, didn't he, to get the tooth out. Well, good God. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to meditate, but then the sound's going off of the beep, beep, you know, when they're doing the anaesthesia little thing around it. And I can feel myself like inside just getting more and more like this. I thought, I need to put my earphones in. Like I said, look, Ethan, I love you. I'm right here. I said, but I need to do this. So I put my earphones in, I put my music on, and I was just there, and I concentrated on my breathing. I was listening to my music, and everything just felt a bit better. No, it felt a lot better, actually. And, you know, I could see him. He wasn't even bothered by it. And I didn't want him to be triggered by my trigger, you know. So, like, I had to kind of take control. But that's what I did. I just put my music on, started really just concentrating on my breathing, and we got through it. And he came out and he was laughing at me. He was going, Mum, you're so funny. And I was going, I know. But, like, I know my triggers as well. I know what happens to me, the feelings that I get when I start getting in that kind of like, and I get hot. I have hot flashes, and I can feel it in my belly kind of like twirling around. and I'm like, and then I hear the sounds and I'm like, no. So that's my point. I just have to stop. And I did. And that really works for me. So, and it can work for everybody. It can work for everybody. So let's start with Susie, because you're there. So we're going to work around like this, like a circle. Susie, being centered.
Being centered. I kind of need that, you know. It reminds me, I think it's Mahatma Gandhi who once was asked by reporters, what do you think about the Western civilization? And he answered, it would be a good idea. So I think that would be my answer about being centered. That would be a good idea for me. I don't feel that centered these days, and actually that's why I suggested this subject, because I called Danielle yesterday. Well, actually asked, can I call you? It was a very interesting experience. Well, I moved houses, and you know it's been a lot going on the past. Apart from the COVID, the past year it's been quite rough. So, and yesterday, when was it? Before yesterday, I have received a compliment from one of my clients who has become a friend and is a poet, and he wrote me a beautiful poem, and he wrote me all kind of words of appreciations. And actually, I found that strange that put me down. Very interesting. Like I couldn't receive them. I said, what is he talking about? I mean, look at me. I'm nothing. So I could feel and I could hear these words in my head. And so I didn't know what to do. I knew what to do, but you know, I preferred to call Danielle. And so she asked me a very, very, very interesting and powerful question. She said, correct me if I say it wrong, Danielle, please. She said something like, if you were your center or your essence looking at you or at somebody else going through what you're going through, what would you think about her? And so I took a few moments, and actually the first word that came to me is that you're fabulous. You're doing great. Like you're really an amazing person with everything that you've been through, with everything that you're doing. So, but I couldn't feel it. And so being centered, I think it's a constant process. And if I am to speak theory now, since we are at different speeds, at the different levels or layers of our being, there is a certain speed for our physical body, certain set of laws, and then there's another speed going on in the mind, and there's another speed going on at the level of being or of the soul. Then I think being centered is to be connected with these three, and then one goes and runs faster than the other, then we kind of get a bit dephased. And I think this is the feeling that I've been having the past couple of weeks because of this moving. Like I feel dephased. I'm not yet into my own zone of comfort. I haven't yet established a connection with the house and with the new habits here and everything. So I think being centered requires effort, a constant effort. And I think the daily sadhana, I do my daily yoga. Now I have a client with me for a week. And we've been doing yoga together. And at the end of the yoga practice, we do this beautiful meditation, which one day, if we talk about meditation, we can share. Maybe that would be a good subject to touch one day. And this meditation, we connect to the source, we see the source outside, and then we allow it to come down slowly through the chakra of the head, like to the seventh chakra. And it stays there, and then it goes behind the forehead and it illuminates from there, and it goes in the throat, illuminates from there, and then it centers in the heart. So that's what I've been doing this week with my client and with myself, of course. And it feels really good because it brings everything back in. I think feeling centered is when you are into your essence. In my personal experience, nothing else outside can actually bring you this feeling of centeredness. Nothing, no object, no relationship, no person, no job, no house is literally being able to be within you and allowing that light of the source, God, well, whatever we want to call it, to be and shine in your heart. And there's where the peace is. And I want to share with you a quote before I give you the word.
Yeah.
That I saw this morning from Muji, and I found it quite cool. It says like this: it's true that what you feel is what you feel, but it is not true that what you feel is truth. So even though in your mind, those thoughts are telling you things about yourself, your mind keeps judging yourself, and they may seem true, and the experience seems true because it's real, but it's not the truth. And that's what I discovered yesterday with Danielle when she told me what is actually the truth about you. And that's, I am doing great, actually.
You just need to be reminded of it sometimes.
Yes.
Because, you know, life can be completely hectic and just be a whirlwind, and you're so resilient, and you bounce back and you're doing everything. And sometimes you can just forget how incredible you've been. You know, look what you've done, look what you've achieved. And and when you're in that state of unrest, if you can just sort of just zone out and just zone in even, and just, what would my best friend say to me at this point? What would my mother say to me? This is what I was doing, same with my other client as well. What would all these people say to me? And what would I say to me? What's real? And then you get your answer. And then all of the rest, you can put it in, it's perspective, isn't it? It's perspective. Brilliant, Suze. Oh, lovely. Linda, you lovely angel.
I only come on here for all the compliments.
Oh, well, you know, you're in the right place.
Yes. So thinking of I was listening carefully to your story about your girl and how you handled that. Years ago, and for a long time, I would have panic attacks. And they are absolutely vile. And they're different to an anxiety attack. Panic attack, something you've no idea what it is you're going to die from, but you are going to die any minute now. That's the feeling that's in your mind and your body. And I have no truck with them now at all. And all I did, I was fortunate, it was one of those things, Kate, where it only took left brain logic to shift from it being black to being white. I began to, in a clear space in my life, I began to teach relaxation workshops, not just meditation, but all types of things you could do to relax. And so I read up about panic attacks. And it was as simple as this. Something sets you off. There is an initial trigger which sets you off into fight or flight. Your body produces a ton of, what's it called? Adrenaline. Mm. That sets your everything in motion. That makes your breathing go wrong. Your heart's pounding. You are frightened by that. So your body, to help you out, sends a ton more of adrenaline. Mm. And then you're even more frightened because everything's got worse, and it keeps sending adrenaline. So it's a spiral. And I would notice, I could understand this from experience too. I would notice that sometimes they would go away for two reasons. One, when I let go, when I said in my head, well, I'll just die then. I don't care. I'll just die then. And then it would go because I've stopped panicking and given in. Another time occasionally they would last a long time, hours and hours. Then it would stop from adrenal exhaustion because there was no more adrenaline to give. And that was quite a nice feeling because then in that state of adrenal exhaustion, everything was calm. There was nothing whatsoever to respond to a trigger. So I just saw the logic of this spiral that, so we get frightened at the outset from the first symptom, and then it all goes to pot. So we just need to not be frightened. Now I understand this. and never in all these panic attacks had I died. I've never heard of anyone die in a panic attack. So it was that logic that Kate teaches. Just give your left brain an idea that it is not all black, that a little chink, and it go, oh right, it's not then. It's not true then. And I began to have, when I was physically and mentally stressed during last year, times were difficult, and one began to come on, and my first symptom would be tingles, like shivery tingles around my body, and I was particularly stressed about something, about a health symptom at that time, not able to sleep, and it began to come on, and I was just able, as I'd done previous times, to go, oh, I know what you are, and cut it off there. And so what I saw that you taught your girl to do is cut it off right at the outset, wasn't it? Yes, take control. I mean, it doesn't matter how you take control of it, whether it is by this understanding that I've gained, and it just goes no further for me, or whether it is by shifting your focus. Yes, because all of your focus is on every single symptom that you've got, isn't it? And on how bad it is. You can think of nothing else except how awful it is. So just get your focus. I'm being centered, yes. So then also, I don't know that I've got anything of my own today, so I'm going to add on to everybody else's.
Oh, please do.
Susie's, I've written down that being centered requires constant effort, and I can understand that. I think being the way we want to be ought to require constant effort, didn't it? Why are we expecting a hall pass? Why are we expecting something out there to do this stuff for us? It made me think that perhaps we are, I don't know whether we're lazy or we're uninformed. Maybe we're uninformed, or a bit lazy. I'm a bit lazy on putting this effort into life, into being what you want to be, into having the life you want to be living, and living it the way you want to live it. I think until Susie said that I was expecting a fair amount of it ought to be all right, surely it ought, we ought to have been given some kind of level already, and we haven't, have we? We have not. There is no centered. So what I think then from that, there is no automatic centeredness. We have to achieve that, attain that, don't we? And for me, that is a big surprise. It's a big surprise. Really.
It's interesting because, like, when you put in, you have to put in the effort for any mental state that we're experiencing. There's effort, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that is going into getting into that mental state. So yes, absolutely, you have to make the effort to get into the centre too. So take back control.
And I see, of course, in my clients, of course, if we've got clients, they are, something is wrong, and so now I see from this. Now I see that yes, something is wrong because they let's be respectful, because they didn't know what they have to do.
Yeah, that's right.
For things to be right.
Yeah.
And so it kind of turns things around a bit, doesn't it? So we're not, yes, we can remove things with NLP, we can remove feelings, we can destroy states and feelings. And I believe that is a good thing to do, because we've collected a whole load of baggage. We've collected a whole load of Facebook algorithms that have got no sense whatsoever and are keeping us unable to leave the house or unable to get in a lift, or whatever it is. So we can do that, and I think we must do that. Let's clear the ground, and then we need to build on it.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm always talking about Kate's course. That is what Kate's course does, and Kate's group is going to do, because otherwise it is not going to come automatically.
Truth.
That's what I've got to say about it.
And something as simple as if you're in a panic state, or not even in a panic state, no, that's not the right thing. If you are not feeling centered and you want to come straight back to center quite quickly, you can do something as simple as running your hand like under a cold tap and noticing how it feels, and then turning it to maybe warm, and then noticing how that feels, and literally just being mindful, because mindfulness is very similar to being centered and meditative. Is that the word? Meditative. It all comes down to the same thing. And talking of meditative, God, look at me today. Kate, the amazing Kate, is going to be doing, she's offered to do a technique for us all today, so we can all try it. And I'm really excited because, Kate, you are just flipping awesome. Your techniques, I always use your technique as well about the driver and and you're in the car, because I said that to my client yesterday as well. I said, it's part of you that's trying to help you. There's these panic attacks trying to protect you, but you just need to notice that and just say, look, I know you're there. I recognise that. This is from Kate, but you're sitting in the passenger seat and you're driving. I'm taking control. If I need you, you're there. But until that point, I'm driving. And that's it. And that's a brilliant analogy, Kate. Brilliant. So, Kate, can we come to you?
Yeah, sure. So I got a few things I'd like to sort of follow on from what you've said.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll do this practice together, which we can do just sitting down, just a simple like centering practice. But so what you're all saying, I'm hearing from all of you, especially like Danielle, you're talking about going to the dentist and stuff. It's like it's a very sensory experience, isn't it? It's the sounds, there's the smells, there's the lights, all these sort of things, and we can anchor that experience as being bad, and so then we immediately, before we even get there, we're starting to get fearful, aren't we, about it coming up and what's happening. And it tends to never be as bad as we think, does it, ever? And so it rarely is that. So usually we cope in the moment. It's the worry about what might happen, and the monster in the closet kind of thing, and you open it and there's nothing there, it's a little insect scrabbling about or something, because we turn it into this great big thing in our minds, don't we? So it's all up here, isn't it? It's all this stuff that's going on up here in our heads, and we're not really thinking about anything that's going on from our chin downwards, are we? And when you get into like running your hand under the water, or smelling something like your favorite perfume or whatever it might be, then you're getting into your body, you're getting into your senses, you're getting out of thinking and into feeling. And so it's all about what are you feeling, and getting into your body, and that's the way out as well. It's the way in and the way out, because we get this feeling, we suddenly get this panicky feeling in our chest maybe, or our breathing starts going funny, and then we start thinking about it. Oh, what does this mean? Am I gonna die, as Linda was saying, and then we start thinking, and as Susie was saying, I was thinking all these things about I don't deserve this praise and everything else, was really absolutely you did. And it was just like, and when you sort of got yourself out of yourself, like you get a different perspective, as we were saying, then you look at it in a different way. As Linda was saying, well, okay, what if it's just this thought, then I'll change the thought, and that was it. Or if it's a feeling, then we know you can change feelings, because they're not real either. Really, you can change feelings. I can move pain all around my body if I want to. And so it's, if I can do that, then maybe I could actually get rid of it completely, just so there's all of these things that you can do when you decide, kind of like it's a decision, isn't it, to take charge, as we were saying. And then the simplest way for me is to get into that centered feeling. What is that feeling for you? Knowing what that is.
Yeah.
because some people don't, they've sort of kind of forgotten what it is. So finding where is it for you, and some people have it in all sorts of places, tends to be down in the gut. Some people are more in the heart centered, and some people more go down to the gut, where it's like this really sort of sense of being, and it is our center, really, our gut, when you think about it in terms of our how tall we are. So it tends to be there, and there's a feeling there, and it tends to be like an orangey yellow light for most people, which is this just warms like sunshine. And it's when you can just focus on that feeling, because you're saying, oh, it's not, you have to work at it. And yeah, you have to work at remembering that it's there, but I believe it's always there. But you're right, we do have to make effort. We can't expect to go through life and have all these things happen to us. Like every day, you make a plan for the day, and as soon as you get out of bed, it's changed because something's happened here and there. So this life is always throwing us this stuff. And I believe it's a bit like we're walking a tightrope all the time. That's life. So you're walking a tightrope, you're being aware, am I balanced or not? If I'm not balanced, then I need to move a bit left or right with this pole. And, I might be carrying a lot of burdens along with me, and the pole might be unbalanced in the first place. So I need to take those off, which is what we do with NLP. Just let's release all of that old stuff, so I can just be freer to move and be more flexible. And then taking another step, and knowing what direction you want to go. And so, and then you do it all again. Where am I now? Am I balanced or not? If not, get myself more balanced, and then take another step. And that's life. And life is holding the rope and shaking it sometimes, So that's what we have to deal with. And it does take effort, and we have to learn how to do that, and how to do it for us, because we're all different. And so my way is not your way. And so that's why we have to have all these tools in our toolbox, isn't it? So that we can share these things with people and say, well, how about this? How about that? Or what happens? And then asking them, what's happening for you right now? Like the girl with the anxiety, panic attacks, then what was happening for her was very, very unique for her. And so she knew that what happens just before she falls off the tightrope, what was the moment she knew it was about to happen, or the bounce was about to go, then she could get herself back to balance on her own, because she was still in control. Yeah. But when the mind gets stuck in fear, then that's it. We're out of control. And then, so it's all about learning how to stay in control. And then what do you do when you lose it? And that's the other thing. Like, it's all very well, but what happens when you lose it? It's all great having all these great, sit and meditate, and I'm loving calm, and I can go on a 7-day quiet retreat somewhere, silent retreat, and find my center and everything else. And I come back to my life, and what do I do now when I'm back in my life? So it's what happens when you lose it, when you suddenly lose it, and you're just angry and you just fly off the handle. Then it's also learning how to do that. And that's a practice too. It takes a lot of practice. And there are ways that you can do that by purposely, like say you have an anger issue. One way to get yourself back to center once you lose it is practicing by just angering yourself a little bit, and then trying to bring yourself back. What makes you angry? Just slightly angry. Think of somebody who annoys you. Watch your most hated politician on YouTube or something, and actually watch that person. And then while you're watching them, practice bringing yourself back to center. How do you do that? Where's that anger in your body? What can you calm it down? Can you pour some water on it if it's really hot? Or we can play around with all the sub-modalities of it, can't we? And do all that sort of thing. So then you ramp it up a bit. What makes you a little bit more angry than that? And practice then bringing yourself back, until eventually you'll get to the stage where even when you totally lose it, you bring yourself back. But the other thing, the magic of that is when you do that, the more you practice it, the less likely you are to ever get angry in the first place. And that's the key, because you're practicing being calm, and then your body is more used to doing it for itself, and it kind of just does it automatically after a while, and you don't need the practice anymore. And that's what I've found. The more work I've done with centering myself and working with all the sort of stuff that's taken me off balance with that tightrope, then the more I've done that, I find it quite hard to get stressed now.
It's a beautiful thing.
And that it is, isn't it? And it's and that's the thing. And it's sometimes like, this is happening to me, and I sometimes am thinking to myself, I should be really stressed now, and I just don't even feel I can do. And that's practice. It's effort. And if you want it, you have to do the work. And that's
Can I say as well, there can be things that, like what we're drinking and what we're eating, that are causing extra things to our frustration. Because for me, tea and coffee, caffeine, I constantly I was drinking it all the time. I haven't drunk any for like, 2 months now or something. And how I feel inside is totally different to when I was drinking tea and coffee. And I just didn't realise that was it was a trigger for me. It was something that I was doing on a daily basis, which I had no concept of what it was doing to my body. And it was constantly putting me on that edge, so I was less tolerant. I was just less tolerant of everything. I mean, although I'm a tolerant person, and I really can control my feelings on the majority of the time. It's been known to lose it a few times, I can't lie, but I'm human, we're all human. But when I gave up the tea and coffee, yes, I had horrible withdrawals, but my whole inside it melted. And the thing is with you, Kate, as well, you don't drink. Do you drink caffeine? No.
Only now and again. It's the key is to come off it and then just have it now and again, just maybe 2-3 times a week. If you need a boost, then have it, and you get a proper boost, and then you come back to normal.
And that's the thing.
Caffeine, it actually tires you out. It's a bit like smoking. So you have to have it to get back up to normal again, where everyone else is already at normal. You're actually lower down because you haven't got that boost. You need the caffeine, you need the nicotine to get you up to where other people are that don't have it.
So that's the thing. And the thing is, no one's saying to give up everything that you love. Like, I'm not saying that at all.
You don't need to do that. You just need to have it not all the time, and that's the key.
Yeah, moderation. Yeah, moderation. And the thing is, it might be something, if you are feeling constantly on edge, it might be something as simple as what you're eating or drinking. It could be something as simple as that you don't even recognise, and you're just constantly feeling maybe a bit like, maybe that's just adding to your pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, Linda's mentioned my course, and in that I talk about things like the effect of sugar. Blood sugar level is absolutely massive for your mood. Absolutely. Your sleep has to be good.
Yeah.
If you don't sleep well, then you have no resilience to stress, and the slightest thing will stress you out. Like last night, my husband said something to me, and I was kind of like getting quite annoyed. I noticed myself getting a bit annoyed, and I thought, what's this? And I thought, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
This is stupid. This is nothing. But it was like 9:30 at night. I was tired. And it just wasn't the time to have that sort of discussion, because so once you know when your times of high resilience are, which are normally in the morning when you're most rested, then that's your time to have awkward discussions with people. So you can, once you know yourself, you can plan that.
Yeah, can I add something here? Because we talk about food. Of course, it's important, and the centered state comes from the Ayurvedic perspective, with the balance of the doshas. So the more you are in imbalance of your own dosha, the more you risk to go up and down in the emotional scale, So it's very important to know yourself, to know your type, and to know what's good for you, because coffee once in a while might be good for some people, but for some people it's best not to have it at all. And for some people it's good to have it daily because of your body type, to compensate for the tendency of your body. So indeed, most of these uncentered moments come from the body. And this is where we're being harsh with ourselves, me included, where I'm thinking, oh no, but it's actually my poor body, tired after working hard of all these weeks and moving furnitures and painting and doing all kinds of stuff. Wow. Of course, I'm exhausted. And of course, I see life in a different way. So it's very, very important to work with the body and start from there, and then go on and judge yourself about your anger tendencies and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Absolutely, you've been incredible. You literally have moved all your whole house, your whole world. You've done it, and you've done it on your pretty much on your own, haven't you? And
when within a week.
I mean, that's a
So
man.
that's the body. The body needs to be looked into, and we really need to understand what is like how it functions and what are its tendencies, and learn how to bring these tendencies down and master them. I prefer the word master than control, because control, I don't like control much.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
To master these elements and to understand how these elements work and put these in balance, and then it will be easier to deal with the emotional part.
Yeah, it's just listening to your body, isn't it? It's listening to what your body needs and not ignoring it, because your body's going to give you messages all the time. If you're tired, go to sleep. Like, I know it's not easy. Like if you've got, I don't know, you're at work, or if you're, or you've got like loads of kids, or, you know, or you're just in a stressed environment, it's not easy to just go to sleep. You can't sometimes, but you can make the decision to maybe take a little break, have some you time, and go to bed earlier at the night time, so that, you know, organize, ask for help, ask someone to help you for a little, you know, it's so important. Otherwise we're running ourselves to the ground, and then it stops, then everything stops, you know. So if you don't listen, your body will just keep sending out all these signals to keep reminding you to do these things until it just says, right, that's enough. And then you can't do anything else, because then you've just stopped. That's the breaking point. So that's
burnout, isn't it? That your body will eventually make you stop if you don't listen. And so it's learning to listen to those signs, like that, like with the panic attack thing.
That's right.
Know the sign before you break down. You know, get yourself back to balance before you fall off the tightrope. That's what you've got to learn to do, and it's what is it for you. So that's the key thing. So would you like to try this?
I'd love to try this. Yeah, let's do it.
It's all about getting into your body. So we'll do it sitting down, because we're all sat down. It's easier. Yeah. You can. It's kind of good to do it standing up too. It's a bit more relaxing to do that. And it's all about getting into the body, because I study embodiment. It's like changing your mind and your feelings and your thoughts by using your body. And so it's kind of like a halfway between yoga and NLP kind of thing. It's like a really cool practice. Okay. And in embodiment, there's a guy called Mark Walsh he's got loads of videos on embodiment. You can find loads of stuff online from him. And he talks about using this ABC system. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do the ABC of centering.
Amazing.
Okay? With a few bits added on, which is the bits that I do. So first thing you need to do, and you can do this with your eyes open, your eyes closed, is just, have you got what are your feet on at the moment? Are they on the ground, on the chair? I don't know where they are, but just kind of just notice your feet, whatever they're being supported by right now. And if you're standing up, then you could have your feet hip width apart, so they're kind of like nice and solid, and you could just notice the ground supporting you. So that's the first thing you can do. Just tuning into that sometimes is enough to calm you and center you. Just noticing your feet on the ground and just feeling supported by the earth. You know, that can be very powerful. So just tuning into that, and then you can just say hello inside and just notice what is happening. So this is this is awareness now. So we're just getting aware of what's happening in my body right now. Just sort of have a look round at your feet, come up to your legs, and notice what's happening. And a lovely noticing you can do is noticing your breathing, especially like the opening and closing of your ribs when you breathe. It's a bit like opening an umbrella and closing again, because it's not, we tend to just notice the feeling of the breath at the front of our chest, but what about our back? Right round our back, our ribs are moving there too. And just, can you notice that right now? Just let the umbrella open and close. So on to the B now, which is breathing and balancing. So just breathing first, just noticing your breathing in your chest, and then you could just put a hand on your chest and another one on your belly, and just notice then what happens when I really just relax my belly. Because ideally your belly would move more than your chest would. when you're properly relaxed. And we tend to hold our belly in a lot when we breathe. We hold a lot of tension in our belly. And so that diaphragm needs to be relaxed to breathe properly and deeply. So you can just notice your breathing with that. And just one way of relaxing very deeply is just to breathe out slightly longer than you breathe in. Only slightly more, because every time you breathe in, we actually go into a slight stress state. Every time we breathe out, we go into a relaxation state. So if you're breathing out more than you breathe in, then you have to be relaxing. And then the other balancing thing we can be doing for B is just noticing where you are in space now. Are you a bit more forward than you are back? In which case, center, forward to back. Just be more centered there, and then do the same with left and right. Are you a bit unbalanced that way? Think of your shoulders. Think of how you're sitting right now. Are you a bit left or a bit right? And then there's up and down as well. Could I be a bit more, lengthen my spine a little bit and make myself a bit more centered that way? So that's another way, just getting into your body and just noticing what's happening in your body. And again, just notice now, you're not really thinking at all now. You're just focusing on your body, and that's the beautiful thing about centering, when you get into your body and just notice what's happening. And now we move on to the C. So we've had the awareness, we've had the breathing and the balancing, and now we're getting into the C, which is just core relaxing now. And so we're going to start from the top of our head and just really relaxing our eyes. And if your eyes are open, then you could do that peripheral vision. So that softens our vision. And that's a way of relaxing our eyes. And if your eyes are closed, then just imagine the muscles around your eyes are just getting heavier and heavier. So even if you wanted to open them, you almost just couldn't do it now because they're just so heavy and relaxed. And then we're moving down the face now to our jaw, where we hold so much tension, and just letting that go a little bit slacker in the jaw. And if you put the tip of your tongue against the back of your front teeth, that really relaxes your tongue as well. Because your tongue, when it's relaxed, is actually stuck against the top of your palate, against the roof of your mouth. That's the relaxed version of your tongue. And then moving down now, taking that relaxation down the back of your neck and around your throat. Just relaxing now all the way down, noticing now your shoulders too, the base of your neck and out to your shoulders, and whatever you might be carrying on those today, just imagine just letting those go a bit more, and everything can just slip off those shoulders and fall onto the ground and just dissolve away. You don't need to carry that around with you today. That can just go as well. And just letting your shoulders relax. And open too. Now, if they're a bit too forward, then that's going to restrict your breathing. So just putting your shoulders back a little bit, opening up your chest and noticing how much more easily you can breathe when your shoulders are back. Something we do, when we tense, we tend to go forward with our shoulders. So another quick way to relax is, and just center ourselves, is just put your shoulders back and breathe. And then down to our chest now, just noticing that, again, the opening and closing of that umbrella as you breathe. And then taking that down, all the way down to your belly, that relaxed breathing. You're really letting your belly hang out now, because we don't do that. But if you notice a baby when it breathes, its belly is lovely and full and open. It just breathes so easily. And one thing you can do now is, one beautiful thing to do now is, just while you're just sitting in this relaxed state, just the other thing with C now is connection. Just connecting now, and just maybe think of somebody now who makes you smile. And just think of them and allow your heart kind of to open, just with warmth and love for that person who just makes you smile. And when you're into that feeling, you could take your hand onto your heart and really feel that feeling, and you could then rub down from your heart down to your belly, and you're just taking that down, one hand after another, just bringing it down now, taking from your heart down to your belly, and just rubbing down, heart to belly, one hand at a time. And that's just another way of taking that feeling down. Just connecting your heart with your belly, that those wise centers. Our heart is very wise in terms of feelings and emotions, and our gut is very wise in terms of intuition and that connection with the source, as Susie talks about, that beautiful connection that we have with all things that are just warm and full of love and energy and light, all of those things. And a lot of people that suffer with anger can be a lovely experience, just rubbing from the heart down to the gut. It's a lovely feeling. And then now just think of yourself, and just gratitude for you, and imagine just thinking about all the things you've done in your life and the achievements that you've made and how amazing you are. Just you being you, messy and imperfect as we all are, but amazing anyway. So just now, beautiful thing you can do to finish is just to give yourself a hug. So you put one hand on your shoulder and the other hand and under your arm, sort of like hugging. So you're hugging your heart. And if you like, you can put your head to one side onto your hand that's on your shoulder, and just give yourself a hug, and you can sort of rock yourself a bit left to right as well, which is quite nice. So just giving yourself a beautiful hug. Just caring for yourself right now, this amazing self. And then whenever you're ready, just come back to now. And just noticing how you are now compared to how you were when you started.
Yeah.
And what made the difference for you? What was the thing? And there'll be one thing that really worked for you. I mean, for me, putting my shoulders back is a massive one for me.
That was beautifully worded.
Yeah.
That was
focusing on the breathing. I used to do yoga years ago, and I'd no patience with the breathing. I never did the breathing anyway, and I had no patience with it. And I kind of feel as if it's a bit, if that is all you've got, focusing on your breathing, then you're in a bad way. And then this last, I don't know, year or two, I've derived great benefit from that focus, just focusing on it. That was very nice then, and even counting, just not a lot of focus on the numbers, but counting so that I could know how to do the longer breath out.
That was lovely.
Yes.
The connection was really great, wasn't it? And sending out, I was thinking of you and sending you all the hug.
Oh, thank you.
It's the truth. You make me happy. You just add to my world. I'm so lucky, and I feel a lot calm. It was lovely. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour, and it's been a wonderful hour. How does it come through? Oh, That was the most beautiful ending to this hour. I don't even want to leave. I want to stay. I want to stay. Oh my gosh. Has anyone else got anything that they wanted to say? Because I think that was just wonderful.
Well, indeed, I think breathing is one of the keys to get there. And there's plenty of pranayama techniques that don't require too much time. I just taught the client that he's here with me for 7 days, and she's dealing with several things, and that the best way to go about it, apart from everything else that we're doing, I taught her a couple of breathing exercises which are very simple, and it takes literally, I don't know, maybe 1 minute, not even, and it puts you instantly into this. By the way, after we talked, Danielle, that's what I did a breathing, and it helps.
Good.
But the thing is, I think the hardest thing to do when you are out of center is to remember that you can do something about it. That's the thing. If you remember and if you get yourself to do it, it works. There's so many things. Tapping works, breathing works. There's so many things that work. But
lots of
you
things.
get yourself to do it, that's the thing, to do it systematically, to do it preventively. I do it every day. I do my yoga every day. When my client was even better because the two is different and there's the energy there. But even so, I do my yoga every day. And despite that, because we were saying that life is like this tightrope, and beyond everything that we have and carry within us and within our bodies, there is the external factor, there's the external noise. And in a society as ours, where we're literally bombarded, and it's like, there's no way, unless you live in a forest somewhere, or maybe somehow like me, in a tiny little village, that there's nothing going on, that you can find some peace. But else, we're constantly under the influence of all these external factors, social media, TV, computer, phones, and everything. And it's not that I'm negative or anything, but it could get harder and harder. So the more you invest in yourself and in learning tools on how to deal with these things, the easier it will be, because it's not going to get any easier. The technology will make it easier for us. It's an utopia. It will not, because human beings need to be with themselves and with the humans and with nature. So the more we're going to create interfaces between us and others, the more difficult psychologically it will become. So just be careful and try to keep something going, something human going.
Oh, God.
And not take it for granted that you have it when you have it. That's the problem, isn't it? Because we have it and we take it for granted until we lose it, and we lose it big time. And then we get people coming to us. And what we all want is to prevent this from happening. This is why we do this now. So do some practice as a prevention for the future, because it will come if you don't do it. That's the thing. I think there's very few people that go through life without any kind of emotional thing going on, when they could have done with this practice ready for when it happens.
And thank you, Kate, for the practice. Wonderful.
So what we can say now then is that the moment we're looking for, when you were asking your client, Danielle, for what is the moment before, we're looking for the moment before we feel we've lost power. And that would be that she identified that moment, didn't she, in a panic attack? Once you've started down that spiral and your breathing is upsetting you have lost power. Fortunately, I've been able to take it back, but you want to deal with it as soon as possible, don't you, really? And because it knocks on, if you feel powerless, then it can ruin your whole life, because you can begin to feel powerless and useless and rubbish in everything. So yes, we need to be looking for that moment, that work out, take some time to work out whatever happens to you. I'm going to be doing it on anger. Whatever it is happens, panic or anger or depression or whatever it is that happens, look for what is the moment just before it's too late.
That's right. And in the darkness, know that light will always conquer it. And that's when you're going to find that light. And you can find that light because it's in you. So you can conquer everything. On that note, I wanted to say a massive thank you. Gosh, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. Anyone that's watching, I hope you got value from this, because I feel so relaxed and so calm, and it was wonderful. Anyone that you want to contact, we're here. We are here for you. I've got to get my brain back in gear. So yeah, I'm going to list everybody's contact details in the notes. So please do, if you need any help at all on a one-to-one level, we're all here to speak to you. They're all incredible people that I'm surrounded with here. I'm so grateful and lucky to have these beautiful women in my life. And get in touch with us. Listen to our podcast every week on a Friday. Share and help other people feel great, because we all deserve to feel great. That's the most important thing to know. We all deserve it. Yes. So on that note, have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to sign off live. I'm staying with you guys, and take care. Yeah. Remember, realtherapypodcast.com/follow. Right.